Hello. I'm gonna do like a lot of talking this morning, or like a lot of little videos, because I have something I want to talk about, which is, I'm not gonna make it a mystery or anything like that. Games. I want to talk about games, all sorts of stuff about games, because I have a lot to talk about at the moment, and I'm gonna break it up into little videos, because I could do one video that's like just blah 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 blah, like for an hour, but all these topics I really like, and I want them to have their own videos so I can really focus on each topic. I was up to 4 a.m. last night. It was Friday night. I was up to 4 a.m. because I was installing Amiga Forever and C64 Forever. They're like these, you buy it and it's legal and it's emulation. It's this thing that they've been developing to make it easy, streamlined to get emulated games to work on the computer. But I'll talk about that in thing. And so last night I was just like trying it out and downloading games for it and stuff, and it was so good. But I've actually, just to keep myself on track, I'm gonna talk about like each, because it was basically yesterday and today, like just all these things I came across them all at once, and it was just very exciting. And so I'm going to start now. The first topic I'm going to talk about is the fact that I realized just recently today that I love games. I love games. Like I guess I always known it, but I never really realized how much I like them until just now. It just kind of clicked that I love games. Because of my childhood. I think it's because like I grew up playing games. Just like the way some people like love movies, like Peter Jackson loves movies, and all those people, they love, like I know people who love movies, who always love movies, and I love movies too, and I love books, and I love games too. When I was a kid, we had an Atari 2600. It was in the 80s, it was like a really popular console at the time. Like, if you look back, the games look so simple, but at the time, you didn't think like that. It's like that's what games were, It's funny looking back at it, actually, to all these things, but if you think about it, even like today, like, we think it's all very modern and everything, but, 10 years time, you look back and it'll be the same type of thing happening. But, yeah, the games were so simple. There was like, some of them were like just simple, like Pong, like, just like two things going up and down and a ball bouncing in between them, and you're playing ping pong, and the controller was actually like a controller was just a paddle. It was like a circle with a thing on it. I still remember it had a button on it. And the Atari had the classic joystick, which is like this rectangle, and it had a stick and a red button. It was great. And I still remember it, like the plugs and stuff. I still remember the system. It was so cool. It was like I used to play with my brother a lot. The games, and I remember like the cartridges. The games were in cartridges, and there was like tank games and all sorts of games. One of my favorite games, I forgot what it was called, but it was a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Like you were a plane and and then the difficulty level was on the machine, and you could go up and down on the difficulty level on this button, a little thing, and it made your plane like smaller or bigger. Yeah, it was just fun. Oh man, I have great memories of the Atari. The next thing, and my biggest love, I think, was the Commodore 64. Yeah, we got that, and I don't remember the exact moment when we got it, but it would have been one of those cool like Commodore 64. Now moving on to the Commodore 64. Yeah, I think that was what I was trying to do. I don't know. I had like a list of topics. Commodore 64 was going to be a separate video, but I guess I can just talk about Commodore 64. It was kind of blending in now. Yep. So Commodore 64. You were going to get like a separate video, but you're going to have to be lumped in together with all the other gaming, which is good because you're in good company. Anyways, when I got a Commodore 64, I'm pretty sure it would have been one of those packs, like I'm gonna guess it was like $399 or something. That's just a figure I pulled out of the air. But you'd get like the computer, and some games, and I don't know, joystick or something like that. Very exciting stuff. I remember like getting it, and also Commodore 64 was so big at the time. I have a picture of it. I preloaded a picture of it, just like in those shows where they say like here's one I prepared earlier or something. So that's what mine would have looked like too. So cool. Even looking at it gives me really good memories. Like, I don't know where mine is at the moment. It's probably gone. It's probably either in the shed gathering a lot of dust or gone, because I haven't seen it and I don't think it would run anymore. But the cool thing is that so many other people who of my generation who grew up with a Commodore 64 still love it as well. Like, I noticed from like YouTube videos and people commenting on stuff, and it's like such a good system. Like, it was so popular. It was like really, I read somewhere that it was still the most popular home video game system or something like that. I'm not sure, but it was so popular for many years. Like, I think for 5, I'm not sure, I'm gonna guess 5 years or so. It was like so big, but then technology came across, and things progressed and stuff. One thing I love about the games, the music was so good. Like, the music in Commodore 64 games was really catchy, memorable. Like, I can name a few, like Last Ninja, International Karate, Samurai Warrior, Commando. So many really memorable tunes, and it was so simple. Like, the 8-bit music or whatever. But it was like, what I realize is games today, I don't think any of them really have. I mean, they have good soundtracks. Like, Dragon Age has a great soundtrack, but and also Skyrim has a really good soundtrack too. But majority of games, they don't have that catchy. I mean, I guess it doesn't suit the games nowadays, but the music was such a big part of games in those days, and I love it. I love the actual sound of the Commodore 64 type music. I still love it. Like, when I'm listening to Pandora radio, I still have like a channel 8-bit radio, and I still like listening to music that reminds me of that. On Spotify, I've got like Commodore 64 type music as a playlist, so I listen to that every now and then. So Commodore 64, I love it. Yeah, this particular video, I could tell it's going to go for an hour or maybe, or something like that. I have so much to talk about, and since I'm not breaking them up into different things, this video is just all about my gaming. I don't know, like, since I was a kid, and all the systems I went through and stuff. It's kind of a shame because I really wanted to separate them, but oh well, it doesn't feel like I should break it up at the moment. Anyways, oh yeah, the Commodore 64, it had so many good games on it. I still remember so many things about it, like the disk drive, and this massive disk drive. It's really big, and it uses the 5 1/4 inch floppy disks. But before that, I used cassette tapes, because that's what was the thing before, like, the disc became big. Like, you had cassette tapes, which seems really strange now, but at the time that was just what you used. So there's cartridges you could stick in the back, and also cassette tapes. Like, the game would come on a cassette tape. And you know what, I am going to separate the videos, because Commodore 64 is such a big topic on its own. I don't want to just do a quick rush through of it. So this video is mainly about Commodore 64, then I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to talk about DOS games, PC games. That was a big topic too. Anyways, so this is all Commodore 64 stuff. So I love the Commodore 64, or the C64. I love the games on it. Like, such good memories playing it. Probably, I think during this whole period, my favorite game at the time, I always remember calling it my favorite game, was Defender of the Crown. It was this game by Cinemaware, and it was basically they had the map of England and divided into like states, small territories, and you'd have 3 Normans and 3 Saxons. You were on the Saxon side, and the six of you would be separated into different castles, and you'd have a starting zone, and then you'd build up armies. Like if you conquer a land, the next turn you get money from that land, and different lands have different money, and you build armies and you attack each other. Like you build up armies and you fight each other, and you siege their castle and stuff. And if you siege their castle and win, and they've got no castles left, then they get taken out of the game, and until you're the only one left. They had really cool things like raids at night where you could raid their castle and do sword fighting, like swashbuckling sword fighting. There was jousting tournaments. It was incredible. I mean, the Commodore 64 had 64 kilobytes of memory, and so the fact that they could make a game like that awesome out of 64 kilobytes is incredible. Like, and the music was so good. Even to this day, I can still do the tune of it, the intro tune, because I played that game so many times. It goes down, down, da down, 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 da down, 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 down. And the hearing is complicated because there's a few bit instruments, but it doesn't sound as good when I do it. But when you hear it, it sounds it's so good. Cinemaware were really good. They really, really good. If you bear with me, I don't know if I should. Oh well, I think I will now. I've already half done it. Okay. Okay. Hopefully it'll load. Exciting. Love that music. And of course, my version sounds exactly the same as theirs. Yeah, I love that game. And it was cool because it was hard too. Like, you didn't save. You had to start the game. You have to play it. You had to win it all in one session, which is, I mean, it's funny. Yeah, that's how it will happen. And I still remember the first time I beat it and won the game. It was so cool. I think that night I'd been playing it for hours, and then I won the game, and then I think that night we had to go to a wedding or something like that. I still remember it. Like, it was so good. It was at the time, I think I was in grade 4 or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, it was fun to play, and it was really good feeling to win. You get a really good feeling at the end, because I still remember the end sequence. It had that music, it had like the little scrolling text of what happened with the storyline, and it had the words "the end" pop up, and even I still remember it, like it had this light going across the end, like a reflection, and it glittered, like it was like as if imagine the words "the end" in metal, let's just say, and the sun goes past it and it kind of glints off it. It was so cool. So love that game. Another game I really loved was Maniac Mansion by Lucas Arts. Okay, I think they're Lucas Arts. It was same company that went on to make like Monkey Island and all those super famous games. Everybody that plays point and click adventures knows Lucas Arts, but at the time that was the game that we played heaps. My friend Min and I, at primary school, we used to play that so much. And I never finished it, so I got it was fun. It was one of those where you pick up items and you do things, but it was so cool. Like at the start, you had like all these different your girlfriend in the story. Your girlfriend got captured by this mad scientist guy, for some reason. It's funny. It was like one of those funny kind of horror B grade movie horrors. It's really cool. It was like at this mansion, and you pick which two friends of yours should come with you, and they each had different abilities. Like one would be a photographer, one would be I don't know what, a musician or something. So they might each have slightly different skills. So it was pretty cool. And yeah, it was fun to be able to pick which one to go with, and such fun. It was really spooky or atmospheric, because if you're in a room and you, like, let's say you go in the kitchen and you see a cutscene that one of the house members that lives in the mansion is coming towards the kitchen, you have to get out of the kitchen, otherwise they'll capture you, put you in the dungeon. Which, although sometimes I think you're supposed to get in the dungeon for something, but still, it was really creepy as. So it was really good atmosphere, like wandering around this massive house, different rooms, and like, it was really good. I never finished that game, but we played that for ages, and it'd be funny, like we'd be chatting about how we got stuck and stuff. I think that's partly like half of the reason I love these games is like the times I spent talking to my friends playing them as well. Because in those days, hints weren't easy to get. Like, nowadays, if you get stuck, you can just Google it, and I do it too. If you get stuck, I try not to, but sometimes I just look it up. In those days, there was no looking it up. Like, if you couldn't do it, you couldn't do it, which I think was kind of cool. Like, in a way, you'd have to talk to your friends and ask them how they got through it, and talk about things, and look up. I think they had hint lines, and magazines had like clues and stories and stuff in the magazine and stuff. So Maniac Mansion was a great one. That had great music too. Off the top of my head, I can't remember it, so I don't have to hum it then. But I remember it had good music too. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. I'm thinking that's like the start of it. That's the tune. But of course, as always, it sounds a lot better when might as well, since I'm here. I want to get the. So I'm also talking about games, but also taking you guys on a tour of Commodore 64 music, like a guided tour. Music. I want the C64 version of the music. Good old iPad. I just checked, make sure I was recording, because if I wasn't recording all this, I would be very upset. Not upset, but devastated, like sad. Oh, here, see, that's the kids you pick. Sounds a bit different how I remember it. It's in a different language. It's in German, I think. Maybe it'll... Okay, this sounds familiar. No. This is not how I remember it. Because I would remember it. No. Trying a different video. That's more like it. Not that there's anything wrong with the other version. Oh, load. Not that there's anything wrong with that version, because that's probably like whatever country that was from, that's their music for Maniac Mansion that they love. But I want to show you the one that I grew up listening to, and it's just loading a bit slowly. So I'll talk about other things, and once it's loaded, that's called being efficient with time. Because not like I've never spent a video talking about nothing or waiting like 20 seconds for something to load. Loading times. Commodore 64 had, I mean, just thinking about it now, it's kind of funny, but at the time that's just how it was. Like, I want to pause it because it's still loading, it's not finished yet. But anyways, like, let's say cassette tapes especially, like you put in a cassette tape, let's just say the ultimate for me was Gauntlet. This game called Gauntlet. It was one of my favorite games at the time, and it's so cool. Like, you get to pick between a warrior, a Valkyrie, female warrior, an elf, and last guy probably some type of magician or something. But anyway, so you put in a cassette tape, it would load. You'd type your thing like load blah 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 blah, and it'll start loading, and there'd be the cool coloured bars going on the screen. If you know Commodore 64, you know these bars will come on the screen or something, and then after about 10 minutes, I'm not joking, 5-10 minutes, you come up to a screen and then you pick your character that you want to play. So you pick it, and then you load some more. Like, you press play on the tape, load some more, wait another 10 minutes or so, and I think that's when the game starts. I was in grade 3 at the time, and I still remember how long it was to load Gauntlet. That's how long it was. It's not scarred me because I love that game, but it's burned into my brain how long it took. And all games took that long. I mean, discs were a little bit more fast. One of my favourite games was Archon. This game was like in a way it was like chess. So you had your team on this side, their team on a board, and instead of just taking the other piece, when you attacked with your creature to take the other one, you'd be transported to another battle zone, and you actually would fight with this creature and that creature on this battlefield, and they each have different moves and stuff. It was awesome. Archon was my favorite. Archon, Arcochon. Love that game. Love that. It was so much fun, and you could play 2 players, so the other person could control the other team if you want. Otherwise, you could play against the computer. But it was so good. But anyways, I used to play that game, and when I would start the game to load, I would actually walk around my entire house, like, because that would make the wait a little bit easier for me. I would go from my living room and walk in a loop through the corridors back to my room, and I wouldn't walk normally. I would walk 1 foot in front of the other, like that, and by the time I got around, it was almost done. So I don't know why I did that, but that's what I did, because I don't know, a kid's not just gonna sit there and just watch the screen, I guess. Maniac Mansion should be done. Well, it's close enough. Alright, here's the Maniac Mansion intro music. The good part's coming up. What? What? That's not it. There's a part that goes da-na-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na-na. That's so sad. Yep. Not sure if this is the version. Maniac Mansion optimized sound. That's totally not it. Shouldn't be that hard to get the music. Anyways, now I'm distracted. Okay, back to Commodore 64. Such good. Now I'm really distracted. Anyways, I'll leave it now. Yeah, such good memories. Bard's Tale. This is a game on Commodore 64. that made me fall in love with RPGs. I remember playing it for ages, months and months. This Bard's Tale, this game, it's like a role-playing game. You create a party, and to me at the time this was all new to me. The first time I ever played like a game where, I think it was the first time, where you created your characters, you named them, they were different classes, and then you'd walk around this zone, you'd walk around this area, like it's like step by step, like in blocks, and there'd be trees and stuff. You walk around, and then you see, oh, there's a town. You go in there, and then there's like random encounters. So you'll just randomly, as you're walking, fight these monsters and get loot and stuff. And basically, all you're doing is just telling your characters to attack or defend or use items and stuff. And you get armor and weapons and stuff. It was so cool. And the cool thing was I didn't realize for a while that the map was like, let's just imagine like it's a 20 by 20 grid, and when you get to the end of one side it would just loop back to the other side. I didn't realize that for a while, and I always thought you could just keep going forever, you know what I mean? It took me a while to realize, that it was looped, but it was so cool. I love that game. We played that for ages, and my friend Min and I would be in class, in math class, and talking about what items we got and what summons we got and stuff. Oh, it was a great game. And the thing is, we only played like one third of it or something like that, because after we defeated this guy, I forgot what he was. You needed the coda wheel or something to get further in the game, and we didn't have the coda wheel, so we only played like one third of that game. But we had so much fun. I love Bard's Tale. Love it. Bard's Tale 3, Thief of Fate, that's the one we played. Okay, what else? Caveman Olympics, that was really fun. That was a lot of fun. It was like, you're in the caveman times, and there was events like tossing people. Like, you'd spin them, instead of hammer throw, you're throwing a person, another caveman, and it was racing dinosaurs and stuff. That was a really cool game, one of my favourite games, and you got to pick like which character you'd use, and they'd each have different strengths and weaknesses. Or one guy, he was all weaknesses. That was kind of funny how, one character would be really good at like the pole vaulting, and then this guy, he'd be just good crap at everything. So it was funny. Really funny game. I mean, I love Commodore 64 games. King's Bounty. That was another really good. Oh, Magic Candle. So now it's all coming back to me now. Yeah, King's Bounty was a game I got, and it was cool. I still remember this. When I was before I talk about that part, I'll talk about it used to be fun, like going into computer game stores, and like the whole wall would be like Commodore 64 games. Like, they'd be in these boxes, probably about this big. Yep, pretty big. They'd have a cassette tape in there and instructions and stuff, or unless you got the disc version. And there'd be so many games, and as a little kid you go in there and it's like your imagination just is, it's like, it's the potential of the game. Like, you look at this picture on the cover and you think, oh wow, I wonder what that game's like, Looking back at it, games now, like, they're really simple. Like, they're all, when I go back to the emulators and stuff and play them, and like, wow, that game's so simple. But at the time, these kind of things, they really got your imagination going. They were so much fun, and trying to figure out how to play it, because so much fun. And they'd have compilations sometimes, like there'd be like 4 games in one. Like, you buy them and you get 4. It was compilations for a big thing in those days. Like, after a game was released for a while, they'd sometimes re-release them on compilation, so you get like 6 games or something for, a cheaper price if you add them all up. Yeah, so that was cool. But back to what I was saying. There used to be this computer store called Maxwell's. It was in Abbotsford, because I still remember the name, Abbotsford. And they sold Commodore games. And I remember when I was in high school, when I went to Melbourne High, so I was travelling on the train a bit more, so a bit more mobile around the city. I think on my day off, like on curriculum day, I once or twice I went to Maxwell's. You know, like I went there. I still remember because it was such a good trip, because on one of the trips I bought the Magic Candle, this role-playing game on Commodore 64 called the Magic Candle, which I read reviews about. In a PC, not PC magazine, Zap 64, which I will talk about next in a separate video. And they said it was a good role-playing game, and it was one of those games that it's just stayed with me forever. Like how much, like, you know, I think people who play games and who love some games, they understand what this is like. Like you play a game and you like it so much that it just stays with you forever. Like I don't know why, but it's just something about it. Like this game Magic Candle, I love it. Just because it wasn't basically in this game you had to, how do I describe how good this game is? You can't, not in a time limit. You didn't roll characters, you had characters that were set, and you had, like, at the start some bad thing happened to the country, and times of law, I gotta talk about that as well. But something bad happened in the country, and you have to pick who to take in your party. So you take 6 people, I think, and each character has different skills and stuff like that. And in the manual, they each have like a paragraph talking about themselves, and it's like they're approaching you, telling you, no, it's like someone's rating these people, saying, it's so good. The manual for that game was so good. I love the manual for that game. Like it had a little story about the game, like and also each of the characters, like I said, it had a little description about them. So it was really cool which one to pick and stuff. And in town, you could, instead of moving it all 6 of you at once, you could split up the party if you wanted. So one guy could go here and the rest of you could go here, and it was cool. And like when you're traveling on boats, like across seas, I remember, you organize them so one guy's like memorizing his spells, one guy's like sharpening his weapons, and stuff like that. So cool. Like it's such a good game. Really love that game. I intend to go back and play it, but it's just hard because there's so many games to play, and I really would like to finish that game. Okay, Times of Law was another game that I really loved. Times of Law. The music. It's like made by Origin, who made Ultima later on. And you could pick between a knight, a barbarian, or a Valkyrie, like a female warrior, and it was really fun. I really liked that game. I mean, what else can I talk about in like a short amount of time? Like why I like it? It's just like, it was this massive world. Like, you wake up, you're in this inn, you don't really know what's going on, and you talk to a few people and check out rumors. Then you can go walk around the town, and then to walk to the next town takes ages. Like it took like 5-10 minutes of walking on the path, and things would be attacking you as you walked. But it just made the world feel so big, and you never knew where it would lead you when you walked down these paths through these forests and stuff. It was that sense of like, this is a big world, it's real, adventure. It's so cool. And like, I remember walking real far, and then eventually I came just walking off the track, and then all of a sudden there's a big ogre guy, and you fight him, and if you do kill him, like he leaves behind this ring, and it's like, I don't know, this ring, I don't know what it did, but I remember it was something. It was really cool. I love that game, and I did finish that game, I think. I did finish that game. That was fun. Love a game. Times of Law had good music as well. I'm sure I'm missing some games, but I don't want to talk about every single game that I liked, but I think you get the gist that I really love the Commodore 64 a lot. And it's cool because there's other people that feel the same way, and that's another video I'm going to talk about soon, which I'm going to do, is like about the emulated versions. and there's a project called Amiga Forever and C64 Forever. So basically, all these people, they're making these emulators that's easy to use, that so it can preserve these games for people to play easily. It's cool. Like they're doing it just because they love it, and I really like that. Yeah, I don't know what else to say except yeah, I had a great time playing, and it was fun. Like yeah, it was fun. Okay, I think I shall stop this Commodore 64 section there, but I just want to say that yeah, I love that system. Like, you know how people say oh, you know, Nintendo was my childhood or Sega was my childhood. For me, my childhood was Commodore 64. Like I didn't get to play like the Nintendo Mario Brothers or anything like that as a kid. It was, yeah, Commodore 64, and so good, great memories.